Hello there and welcome to our Visual Basic .NET Programming Challenge. This is one of the challenges we set to our students and it's all about cement. We have premium cement and we have standard cement. So this company that we're going to build a program for sells premium cement at £2.45 per bag. Standard cement comes in at £1.90 per bag. So some of the inputs that we're going to need to input the quantity of the number of bags ordered. So we can't exceed 20 bags of cement in one order. And we also need to record the type of cement that they want. And once we've got that information, we're going to have to output a number of things. We're then going to output an order number that's generated for each of the customers. So order number 1, order number 2, order number 3, 4, etc. for the number of customers, and the quantity of bags ordered. And the type of cement they ask for needs to be outputted, and the total cost excluding VAT. And the total cost including VAT at 20%. Now we're going to assume a couple of things here as we go through. So we're going to assume that the customer will only order one type of cement per order. So we won't have mixed bags such as 10 premium and 5 standard cement bags. We're just going to accept one input at this point. So let's have a look then. Let's open up the IDE itself. I've just created a new project here and I've got my Visual Basic language selected, and I'm going to go down to build a Windows Form Application .NET framework. I click Next and create my project. I make sure that it's saved in the correct place. I'm just going to call this Challenge 1 Cement. Okay, make sure it saves in the right place for you, so I might want to select my folder and I'll just put it on the desktop for now anyway. So let's create that project then and let's get cracking. One of the things we need to think about is the form design. So we've got a couple of inputs there. What do we want to actually input into our system? We're going to want the quantity of the number of the bags ordered, and we're going to want the cement from the user. So here's my standard form. I'm going to have a button that's going to accept the information and run the calculation for us. And I'm going to have in there as well a text box to allow the user to type in their quantity as well as their type of cement. Now if I just put these on a form, it's going to be difficult for the user to understand exactly what's going on. So in order to help them out, I'm going to use a couple of labels in order to show them exactly what they're selecting. So I'll drop a few labels on there, line them up, and you can highlight things in Visual Basic, so I'll highlight all my objects and move them as one. And I've got my button there as well, just at the end. It's going to say submit in a minute. So there we are. I can make the form a little bit smaller as well, just to allow for that. And at the moment, I'm just missing, I'm missing my properties window. So in order to get the properties back, I can press View, and properties window is F4. Just appeared on another screen for me, so there it is. So the first thing on my label, I'm going to give that some text such as quantity, a little abbreviation of quantity there, move that in place, and this one is going to be type for our type of cement. Okay, and there we are. Now I don't need to change the name of the labels because I won't be programming them. I won't be editing them in the programming window. But these text boxes I definitely will be. So they need to have their name properties changed. So I'm going to go scroll down. I'm going to find the name property. I'm going to change this to a good self-documenting identifier. Always start off with the abbreviation of the object, which is TXT for text boxes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in quantity, TXT quantity. And this one is going to be, you guessed it, TXT type. Okay. Now for the button, I'm going to need to think about this. This one is going to be my submit button. It's going to allow us to submit and run and process all the data that gets inputted. So this is going to be called btn submit. And its text property, it currently says button 1. I don't want it to say that to the user because it's not very good. I'm going to just write in there, submit. Okay, and there we are. My form is complete. It says form 1. I don't want it to say form 1. Change the text to that. Cement program. Okay. Now my form's set up and all the objects are in the right place and they've all got the correct names. I'm going to double click my submit button because I want all my code to action when I click that button. So just go back for a second and have a look at our programming task. Premium cement sells at £2.45 and standard cement sells at £1.90. The quantity of bags ordered cannot exceed 20 bags in one order. We need to also take in the type of cement they want. So, okay, quantity and type of cement. So if I make a couple of variables, for example, dim starts off my variable, and I type in there quantity, and what information do I want in there? Now, I'm going to want my data type to be an integer, because that's whole numbers. You have whole bags, don't you? You don't buy half a bag of cement. It's not allowed in my system. And also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write in there type of cement. Okay, type of cement as, and that's going to be a string, isn't it? Because our type of cement is either standard or premium, or what you might want to do is have a char in there to accept S or P. Now I'm going to go with a char because it's less typing, and that's just easier for me there. So char it is. Now can I get the information from the text boxes into those variables? Yes, I can. So quantity is assigned the value of the txt quantity. And I need the text property from there because I'm going to get the information, the text out of that, and pass it across. Okay? And I'll do the same thing for type of cement. Type of cement, the variable is given the value from my txt type text box, and I need the text property from there also. So that means I've got the information from there, from the text boxes, into variables. And if you really wanted to, you could prove that that's the case if you put quantity in there. If I run this program, you'll see that when I click the button and I've typed in the quantity, that will get outputted in my message box. Okay. There we are. So if I type in quantity of 15 and my type is standard at this point, click submit, it outputs 15. And that's right because the message box is just outputting the quantity variable. And I've typed in 15 in the text box, that gets passed over, put inside the quantity, and then it gets outputted. Nice and simple. So I don't actually need that line, I'll remove that. So just flicking back to my system, quantity of bags ordered, and then I've got the type of cement. So them two inputs actually work. Now, when I input the quantity of bags, that cannot exceed 20 bags in one order. So for example, if I put here 20 bags, so I need to check that variable, and I do that using a selection statement, which is an if. Now, if says, if my quantity variable is greater than 20, I shouldn't be allowed to continue with the order. Okay, so I might put a message box to somebody there and say to them, you've ordered too many bags. And that's fine at this point. Now remember, greater than 20 means it's not 20, but it's bigger than it. So it'll be 21 or over, and you've ordered too many bags. Now what do I want to do at this point? Do I want to just finish there and let them end? Well, we might come back to this later, but what if we don't have more than 20? So if we've got less than 20, they should be allowed to continue, shouldn't they? And then we do this stuff down here. So let's just ignore the order number for a minute. We'll come back to that in just a second. But the quantity of bags ordered needs to be outputted. So I can say here, message box, you ordered And then I'm going to use the ampersand symbol to concatenate a string and my quantity variable in one line. So you ordered, and then it'll output the quantity. So if I typed in 15, it'd say you ordered 15, and then I'll put also on there, I'll put bags. Okay, notice how I've left a space there, and that means that when it gets outputted, it'll allow you to space out your quantity from there. So if I go on here, quantity, I type in 15, my type is standard, I submit this, you ordered 15 bags, spaced out quite nicely because I've left my spaces in my string. Now what happens if I go over 20, let's say 23 bags? It will say you've ordered too many bags, and then that's it, it finishes. Now that's fine, I've ordered 23 bags. It's not accepted the suggestion there, so really I want to get rid of that text, and I want to refocus the cursor in there as well. So on this line here, which is line number 11 now, if I say txt quantity dot clear, that will clear the 23 out of that box, and if I say txt quantity dot focus, it will put the cursor back in the quantity box. So let's have a look. Make sure it actually does that. Here's my program. Quantity, 23 bags of standard cement. I click submit. You have ordered too many bags. And hey presto, 23 disappears, and my cursor is ready for me to type in some numbers again. Now I can do that again, 54 bags, and it won't let you do it until I type in 20 or less bags. Let's go 19. It will accept it. Okay, and that's what a selection statement does. It allows you to make a branch or a choice in your program. And don't be worried about the term selection. That's just the formal term for if statements. Now at this point, I've got the quantity, and I need to look at my algorithm again. So here we are. Order number generated, quantity of bags, the type of cement they asked for. Yeah, well, okay, straight away I'll just do the same thing again. You ordered and type. Then I can go there you go. You've ordered that type of cement. Now I've not finished my variable off properly there. It didn't suggest it for me, so I need to just select the right variable. Okay. And make sure you listen to Visual Basic. It's trying to give you as many ideas as it can in order to help you out. So here then, at this point, it will print out the type of cement and the quantity for me. That's all good. This is all quite straightforward so far. I've not really done any processing. I'm just regurgitating the information. 15, premium. You ordered 15 bags. You ordered P cement. Well, that's not really good, is it? Oh, here we go. I've shot myself in the foot. I've said I'm going to do a char, and now it just prints out P or S. That's not good, is it? So I can actually improve that if I want to. I can say if type of cement. Didn't really want to do this, but I can do it anyway. It's not a problem. If that equals P, then it'll output a statement such as I could do it all in one. 9, you ordered premium cement. And I might even check here specifically, I might use an else if to check this time, because the person could have accidentally typed in something else other than premium or standard P or S. They could have typed in Z by accident, and I don't just want to do an else there, otherwise it would output just anything else if they get it wrong. So yeah, I don't want to do that. So this time they've got standard cement. Okay, so just test that out. Let's have a look. Make sure we're right. It's important to test as you go. Easier to identify the problems in that case instead of just writing all the code and just expecting that it works. So I might say type in there S, submit. You ordered 15 bags and you ordered standard cement. So it looks like the if statement's working. If I change that for P, it must be capital. It needs to match this one here. You ordered 15 bags of premium cement. Okay. So far so good. No problems really. Nothing really difficult so far. So I've done that. Now the total cost excluding VAT. Okay. So when they've ordered P, or when they've ordered S, this might be quite useful actually now. So I might say, if you've ordered the premium cement, you've ordered that and it costs £2.45 per bag. Now where am I going to store the actual total cost? So what I might do is I might make a new variable up here. Dim total cost as, if I went integer, that'll be a whole number. Don't want to do that because it's not, is it? We're talking pounds and pence. Let's go decimal. Okay, I'll go decimal this time. Alright. Now at this point, I've got my total cost now, and that's going to be given the value of the quantity, which is the number of bags I've ordered, multiplied by £2.45. Okay, so that will calculate the total cost for me. And then if the person selects standard, then the process just changes and the price alters. So £2.45, and this is £1.90, isn't it? Okay, so that works out the total cost, but I haven't outputted the total cost. So I could say down here, message box, total cost is, and I want to make sure that I'm explicit, so this is excluding VAT at this point, so I'll just put that in there for people, and I'll ampersand that with total cost. Excellent. Now let's just see what that looks like for a second. Run this. And I'll keep these numbers quite straightforward so you can actually see what's going on. Let's go just with 10. Okay, and we'll do standard cement this time. So you've ordered 10 bags of standard cement at £1.90 and it produces 19. That's not very helpful, is it? What, 19? Oh, what is that? Is 19 pounds? 19 pence? I think I need to add some kind of currency into that so that it makes it look like an actual proper output. So in order to change this into pounds and pence, built into Visual Basic.net, there is actually a format function which will automatically convert this into some kind of currency that works in pounds and pence to 2 decimal places. So we use format followed by the total cost, and then we use a comma to tell it what kind of formatting we need to do, and we use currency and speech marks just to tell it what that's going to be. So now hopefully that will produce something a little bit better for us, a little bit easier for the user to understand what's going on. So quantity this time is 10 again of standard cement at £1.90. It's 10 bags standard cement, £19. So notice we've got the pound symbol now, followed by a decimal point and 2 decimal places. What happens if we change it to premium? Submit. 10 bags of premium cement works out at £24.50. Okay, that looks a lot better, doesn't it? Okay, excellent. So the only thing we need to really do now is just look at the last bits really. Remember, I've still got the order number to do, but I've worked out the quantity of bags, I've outputted that, the type of cement gets outputted, the total cost excluding VAT, and also the total cost including VAT at 20%. So if I've got the total cost, all I really need to do is work out what 20% of that is and add it back on. So if I make another variable, just to keep things simple, dim total cost, including VAT as decimal, because we're dealing with pounds and pence again. And if I said to this, once the calculation for total cost has been produced, total cost including VAT is equal to total cost multiplied by 1.2. Okay, interesting. Why 1.2? Right, well, 1.2 is actually 100% plus 20% in decimal form. So if I take 100% of the total cost, and then I take 20% of the total cost, and then I put that inside the variable. All right. If I take this again, this bottom line here, copy, paste, and now I do including VAT, format, total cost, that will be total cost including VAT in a currency format. Let's see if that outputs there. So I'll come up here again, quantity, this time it's 10 again, the type is premium, output that, premium cement, total cost excluding VAT is £24.50, including VAT is 29.40. Okay. And if you do a quick calculation on that, that actually works. Okay, that seems to be correct to me. So this process here, the last thing we've got to do is work out the customer number. So the customer order number needs to be kept every time. So really, I don't want to do that and hold the value inside my private sub btn submit underscore click. That all happens inside the button click. Doesn't store any information. As soon as we hit the end sub, all this information actually gets removed and deleted. But the order number, when someone clicks the button again to order, I want to make a global variable. Okay, global variables are accessible outside of any private or public sub procedure, these things here. And what I'm going to do is make the variable there and call it customer number. Okay, now make sure that you put dim at the start to make it a variable. And what data type do I want for that? I want whole numbers. Now every time somebody clicks the button for submit, that means somebody has submitted an order, so we'll give them an order number. Okay, maybe I should call this order number instead to make it clearer to people. Just make that lowercase. There we go, order number. So every time someone clicks the button, I want to increment, which means add one to that variable every time. Order number equals order number again, but this time add 1 to it. So keep a running total, and if I didn't have that here, it would actually remove the information. If I just put +1, okay, then it would overwrite with 1 every time, which is not what we want, because that's not the customer's order number. It's not 1 every time, is it? So it should increment now every time somebody clicks the button, and all we need to do is say message box, your order number is, and I'll type in order number. So at this point, all looks well to me. I've got no issues here. There's no red lines anywhere. All looks good to me. I've tested it as I've gone. The only thing I've not tested now is the customer number. So if I just run this again, and I put in some values, So let's say the quantity this time is exactly 20. I've got standard cement for the first time. I've got 20 bags, standard cement. It's £38 or £46 with VAT, and £40 60 pence, that is. And your odd number is 1. Okay, order that again. £45 even and 60 pence. And this time the customer order number is 2. So it increments every time. If we keep going through this, it now should be 3. So that means you're going to count up the customer's order every time we go through that process. And always with my algorithms, always check to make sure that we've got all of these things in place. Type of cement, the total cost plus VAT is in there, the order number's in there, that's generated as well. So I think that we've got everything we need for this production of this program for this algorithm. So yeah, I think we're all good. Just make sure that when you do this and you're doing it, make sure you comment exactly what you're doing. I've left some comments out here, but you'll always get marks in your exam for writing comments. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you again very soon.